Hi, welcome back to the A to Z podcast, you guys. My name's Zero Remsen. You probably know that by now. If you're watching now, this is episode whatever. I really lost track, even though I just had it. Neither here nor there. I am Zero Remsen. I'll be your resident Yang. To my left, right, whatever direction I put him in. Underneath me is Aaron Chase. He'll be your resident Yin, representing the dark. I represent the light, and we come together in a yin-yang motion, and we talk about our perspectives on the world. We both are very similar people in our core, but our situations caused us to be on two huge ends of the spectrum. But somehow we still manage to be okay, get along, and talk, and have some fun along the way. In the meantime, in the green time, we are going to talk about something today. We don't really have anything planned. Like, sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. Today is not a planned episode. So, Aaron, you had something, maybe, a thought?
I have two things.
Okay.
First thing is I will slowly become the Yang.
Yang. We're also going to figure that out by the end of this podcast. Eventually, we're going to have that. I need to come up with like a concise way of saying it so then it like flows together. I got to think of it like stand-up. Just if I have it memorized in my head, I just run through that, and then we can get into the meat and potatoes. Talk about anime. Oh, okay, we can get into it maybe later. I think Aaron has something in his mind, but yeah, there's definitely my nerd has a lot to say about anime. But
Okay, before I ask what I was going to ask you, we will get to anime. Zero for context. Carly, I care about her very much, and she's the one who got me into anime in the first place. She showed me.
So you gave him his first hit. You're a bad person. It's a bad, dangerous road putting somebody on anime.
Technically, I started with Dragon Ball Z when I was a kid, but I don't count that.
It's like the three that I consider like everybody knows animes: Dragon Ball Z, Pokemon, and Sailor Moon.
Yeah. It would be like if I said I watched Seinfeld and I was like, I know all about stand-up. It's like, no, you don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm his weed dealer. Yes. That's really good.
That's a great play on words, by the way. I come in weeb dealer. That's exactly. I'm gonna call everybody who introduces someone to anime or like somebody who has it like that. That's. I'm taking that.
She's a writer. Whole other thing. Either way, before we get into anime, so you've never been high.
I've never been any higher than contact high.
Have you ever been drunk?
I have never been drunk. No. I have had drinks. I have never been drunk.
Okay. Why?
Why? In order of most important to least important. Number one, I have a thing about control. Like, I'm already pretty out there and wacky, at least from all the feedback that I've gotten in my life. And last thing I need is to introduce something into my system that would mess up something. Like, not even like permanently. I'm not worried about permanent damage. Like, just for like, even in the night that I already have low inhibitions. Anything that would lower those any further, I'm concerned I'll be naked somewhere I'm not supposed to be naked. And then I'm like, how'd this happen? And then I would point to the thing, and I don't want to be that guy. So I just circumvent all of that, don't deal with it, and life has been going pretty good so far. Number two, memory. I also have a thing about like, I don't like the idea of not knowing what I've done or where I've been. It gives me like a weird, in my head, it gives me a PTSD idea. Like even, like, don't get me wrong, in typical memory fashion, obviously I don't remember every part of my life, but like if I woke up tomorrow and I was like, I don't know what happened, that would terrify me. Like, I don't know. I think it still falls under the umbrella of control. And so there's that. Three, I don't like any of the parts of it, the parts of it. So like smoking doesn't smell or feel good, and drinking doesn't smell or taste good to me. And so like, I just like, and even all the versions where like, they're like, well, there are certain types that make it like not taste like it is. It's like, well, if I have to go out of my way to try to make it taste like it's not what it is, Why can't I just drink the thing that just isn't what it is? I just want to enjoy the things that I enjoy, and everything about what the process is to even do the things is also just not fun for me. Um, and I think that's it. Yeah, yeah, that's mostly it. Because I don't have any moral quandaries with it. Like, I don't care what other people do. And honestly, as I turn the corner into 27, August 13th, as I turn the corner into 27, I've told my friends that if I do get drunk, it's going to be in a very specific situation where it's like only with them. I feel like they've been friends with me long enough that they've earned it. They've earned the right to see me get drunk, and I trust that they're not going to do anything. And so, like, I'll let them experience that and then deal with whatever comes after it. And maybe after I turn that corner, maybe I'll be really into it. I don't know, but as of right now, I'm chilling on it. Like, I like it. It's gotten me out of a lot of situations.
Okay. All right. So first off, everything I'm about to say is not to convince you to drink or smoke or do anything. It's just my perspective on it, obviously.
Stop trying to peer pressure me, Aaron.
That's what it is.
I about this in middle school. DARE program. D. I don't know what all the letters stand for, but I know I'm not supposed to do the things.
Oh, is DARE an acronym?
Yeah, DARE is an acronym. It's
Don't associate.
I got nothing. I'm about to just do it.
I don't know. For me, I felt the same way. It was a control thing. And then when I let go was when I could enjoy it. Like one of the things I love about drinking and smoking specifically is it's communal. There's this sense of like when you get a drink with someone and when you're smoking with someone, there's this sense of immediate connection where you're like, we're on the same page. We are doing this thing together. This is communal. We're all in this. And as far as memory goes, my memory is dog shit. So like, I'll give you that. When it comes to control though, I think that like, you don't actually lose that much control over it. Like you've seen the circle, the smoking circle after the show. Nobody's like, this is crazy, man.
No, yeah, weed isn't the best. When I talk about control, weed very doesn't fall into that category. Like to me, that's more of an alcohol thing. Like the alcohol thing is more like the inhibitions lowering. Weed is more like the chilling out. Like I just don't. What it would do for me, I feel like, and again, I haven't experienced it outside of contacts from like being in situations. But like besides that, it's like it's just like it mellows, and I just like I don't know, man. I feel like it would just make me sleepy, and I just don't. But like I wouldn't get anything out of that for me. But again, it's all conjecture. I don't know what it would actually do because I haven't. It's kind of like that. You seen Head of State?
Yeah.
It's like, how can you talk about weed if you ain't never done weed? It's kind of like that thing. It's like, I can talk about it. I know that I don't have any desire to. But as far as its actual effect and what it is, like, yeah, I'm not the person to go to about that.
I get you. And okay, so what you said about drinking with your friends, if you decide to do that, I would love to be a part of that. If I haven't known you long enough, fair enough. But specifically because weed is my thing. If you ever decide to smoke, take edibles, do whatever, I would love and appreciate to be a part of that experience.
Yeah, it's always, and it's something you'll find. This is something specific to me because I'm also doing the abstinence thing. That when you
gay?
when you're a thing that like shows a level of like going against the social norm.
Yeah.
And then you think about letting in or trying the social norm, there's this thing that everybody does, like they want to be a part of it out of curiosity, and they're just interested to see, like, okay, like regardless of if you end up continuing doing it or if you're just like, it happened, like everybody's like, yeah, I want to, like the amount of people that are like, I want to be there, I want to see you drunk, or I want to have
Harrison!
Oh yeah, Harrison's in the chat.
Harrison!
You're always so hype on Harrison.
I think what it is, so, okay. I think the reason people want to be involved is that communal feeling. It's like, oh, he's going to experience the community. He's going to feel like this is why we're all giggling. Like, I think that's part of it.
Right. And I guess I get that. Again, I don't judge it. I totally understand it. It's just as somebody who's on the like experiencing it part, it's like I feel like everyone else and that's weird for me to say, but it's like I think because I'm in this weird middle place where I'm making it a big enough deal that I don't want to do it and I
Yeah.
know that I don't care to do it. But at the same time, it feels like when they make it into like a thing, like we're gonna experience the thing. Like, okay, we're gonna set up a time, and then I'm gonna come, and then we're all gonna smoke, and then we're gonna see what happens to you when you get like the feeling. I'm gonna watch it and be like, so what? How do you feel about it? Like, what do you think? And I'm like, just I feel like you're making it into a
Yeah.
thing, and it's like, it's fine, but like it's just that's another part of it too. It's like
I
that's
have,
kind of why like the friends group it's like, all right
yeah.
guys, like you guys fine, go ahead and gush because I get it. We've been doing this for years and now I'm turning a corner. But like when people are like, oh, you haven't? Let me get you. Which is why this is future projection. And again, like I don't want to be up my butt. But again, we've talked about the inevitability that is us making it. That part of me that's like the type of famous where people are like, let me get you high. I feel bad because I'm not going to be able to participate in that because I do feel like it is them trying to connect with me and in saying no, that it's me like rejecting hanging out with them. It's like, no, I'll hang, but like I don't smoke. Like, and whenever I say that to people, there's this air of like, I have to follow it up with, I'm not judging you though, because
Right.
like immediately people jump to like, oh, 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 I'm sorry. Like, and it's like, don't be sorry. Like, I don't care what everyone else does. Like, enjoy you. Like, I get why it's there. It makes other people feel nice. Again, like you said, it's communal. Like, it relieves the stress of this world and all of our pressures on us. Like, I get it. I just am not a participant. But I love hanging out with people like that. Like,
Yeah.
drunk people are fun. Like high people are fun. They're funny to watch. They're even funnier to watch when you're the sober one.
Yeah. I have a few things.
Okay.
First thing, Harrison says, fucking love the EP and what's black and goes deep under. He says a tunnel. Thank you, Harrison. And thank you for listening to the EP. Before we get back to drugs and alcohol, can we talk about
Yeah, we could talk about the EP. This is the yeah, especially at the point that this comes out, it will be like 3 episodes in between it.
something
So
like that?
yeah, there's the one that dropped this week. There's an episode after that, and then I think we did one more that I haven't edited yet. So yeah, we could talk about it.
How are you feeling? I assume you've listened back to all of it in order.
Yeah, yeah, I've listened to it a couple times just out of this year. I'm like running the numbers because I told you that how I'm pushing the album and all that stuff. And in
Yeah.
doing so, I have to refresh the page because I don't have the keys to the Buddy System YouTube page. So the only way I can check the number is by refreshing the page itself. But yeah, I've listened to it a good couple times now, and I would say some of the songs have grown on me. Others, like it was interesting seeing like again, I was looking at it through the lens of marketing, but it was still me experiencing it. So me as me, looking at the project as a whole, I'm like, yeah, I'm glad we did it as an EP, where it's like, yeah, I could see where all the stuff is kind of like, well, let's do that. Let's just try stuff. Like there isn't a cohesive whole. It's like you could tell we made it song by song, and like even at the end of it, we just released it in the order that we made the songs. We didn't
Yeah.
even go like, maybe we should put this one here and this one here. It's just like all of them come wherever they come in. I think each track has its strength. I would still say I probably lean towards my favorite being I really like Joe Pesci. My only problem is like as again, this is me looking at it through a marketing consumer standpoint. Like I'm looking at it as an audience member to expect somebody to buy in on that whole first minute interlude that should just straight up the audio from uh, the Goodfellas. It's like
Yeah.
I like it because I know what's happening. Like I'm about it. And then when it kicks into your part, and then your chorus is very like it's catchy and on the thing, and then I really like the verse that I did in it. Like I like that first and foremost. But then Pretend comes in like it's easily digestible. Like it's the
Yeah.
most easy one to get, understand. It's like simple. Like got a quick chorus, you got a quick verse, chorus again, verse, and each verse is different in its own way, telling our two perspective. Again, I like that we bounce off each other the way that we do. Um, yeah, I don't know. I like it. I don't not like it. I will say if it wasn't me, I don't know how many times I would listen to it. I think I
That's
would walk away with like 2 songs, but as a whole EP, I don't know if I would listen to the whole EP more than maybe twice if it wasn't me.
that's fair. As I listen to it, it grows on me more, but I know what you're saying. It feels disjointed, and if you can feel like practice, you can feel this sense of like, let's try this type of rap song, try this type and this type. And I think that I'm proud of it. I'm proud of the project. And I think that in the future, it will be even better.
Right.
And I also think
Right. It was the first, and that's something that I got to give clout to because, of course, you always compare yourself to like higher end things and things that like people weren't forced to record off their phones or in their bedrooms and all that stuff. But I like that's who I'm comparing us to at all times. And so I'm
yeah,
like, oh, where's the stack up compared to that? And even there, I'm still like, okay, well, we still made a good thing. Like I still would say, like I'm not ashamed to say, like, hey, that's me on that track. Like
yeah,
I said stuff, that's me. Like, because I know some artists who have stuff from like way in their past, and they're like, oh, I don't acknowledge that album. I don't acknowledge that project. And I'm like, no, I think it has a lot of strengths. I think it has a lot of things that are good for it. I would still highly suggest that people give it a listen to. I am glad that people are enjoying it, like whether it be because it's us or they genuinely like the music. Regardless, I'll take it. Like that's great.
I have a question, Zero.
Yeah.
Does anybody tell you about the negatives, the things that people don't like?
No, I can't even call it negative. It was just like, here's something you should think about. I showed it to one artist that I know that like he also does rap music and all that stuff. And he was like, oh, you might want to be careful with Black Joe Pesci because of all the YouTube copyright stuff that they
Right.
might just shut down that song entirely, or you might get in trouble because it has that whole interlead that leads into it. Like that's copyrighted material. You might get got for that. And I was like, if we get popular enough that that's a problem, I will cross that bridge when we come to it. Like,
Yeah.
I'll gladly take that hit for whatever. Like, that means that so many people are seeing it that it's a problem. And so, like, okay, I'll take that hit. So I was like, that, but I can't consider that negative. It was just him trying to help me see that might be a problem. Everything else has been positive. No, nobody's told me anything negative.
So
I assume you have heard negative.
I have. This is what's interesting to me is like people. Okay, so before I want to preface with I've been mentally and emotionally doing very well, except for at night. That's a whole other thing.
Okay. All right, werewolf man.
Nighttime is just hard because of stand up.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, somebody misses it.
If you talk to me in the day, I'm good. Like I'm solid. If you talk to me at night, there's this melancholy that sets in. But even then, I'm doing okay.
Okay.
So, and I've been working on not dwelling on the negatives. My phone's getting warm. If my shit disappears, I'll be back.
Okay.
But I've been working on not focusing on the negatives or whatever. But for the sake of this podcast and what it is kind of my job as the resident yin to bring it up.
But we're trying to bring you to the light, so don't dwell in it.
Yes, and I'm also trying to bring you a little dark. I want you,
Yeah. Yeah, I'm crying more.
But there seems to be like people have a comfort in letting me know negative shit, where they don't seem to have a comfort with you in that. Like, if someone doesn't like something I do or I'm a part of, or someone hears something that I do and other people don't like it or I'm a part of it, everybody lets me know. And it's weird to me.
That's interesting. I would say there's, so me and my other friend, we talk about this in another way, that like there's almost,
God damn.
and I don't know. You okay?
It's flies, man. I mean, it's terrible.
Okay, all right.
All right.
I don't have that problem. But like, what was yeah, so again, like everything, good and bad, right? So like for yours, there's some inherent negative to that. That's like, yeah, you're getting all the negative feedback, all the stuff. Like that's not nice to hear, or like why people feel the need to come that far out of the way to tell you that. But there's another part of me that when I hear that, I feel like that's like on me in the way of like, the way I'm doing way more push. Like, I don't know how you're pushing it or like where you're going with it. I feel like I'm being way more annoying to people. Like, I've gone through everyone in my Facebook line, essentially as far as Facebook will let me, and just direct message them. And I've direct messaged everybody in my Instagram. And nobody has been like, what the f are you doing? Stop it. Like, they're like, oh, like, and like, okay, I'll give it a listen. Or like, I feel like it's them being too nice to me. Like, it's like, oh, we don't wanna hurt. Oh, he made an EP. Okay, all right, yeah, I'll listen to it totally. And then they don't really, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Well, if you like it, share it. And they're like, totally, pats on your head, and then they keep it moving. Whereas like, I'm interested to know the like negative feedback. I would because I can't, because that's the thing. When people give you negative feedback, I don't know. It feels like, this is just me. Like, it gives you the chance to grow. I feel like when you placate and baby people, they don't get the chance even. And so, and again, that might be just my own psychosis. Maybe everybody's just nice to me because I'm nice. Like, it could just be that. But like, there's a part of me that's like, they don't want to be mean. They don't want to say the things that they feel.
The irony, I don't know if the irony is the right word, but like, okay, I think irony is the right word. The irony is I'm not pushing that hard because I know the reaction I will get.
Mm.
I know that me and my personality, where people are like, if they're annoyed by something I do, they don't like it, they feel whatever, they'll let me fucking know, and they won't do it in a nice or tactful or calm way.
Right.
So
here's my question. Sorry.
Yeah.
This is just like an interesting thing to me, because the reason I made myself okay to do the push that I was doing was because, to me, everyone that I was quote unquote pushing it on, I was like, if they don't like it, then they can unfollow me. They always have the choice to like go, I don't want to be a part of that, and like cut themselves out. Like, everybody I message, it's not like I'm constantly talking to them all the time. It would be well within.
Dude, it's terrible.
Aaron's fighting a fly. This episode's gonna be Aaron versus the fly.
It's like living in a fucking barn, man. Like, I sleep in the garage and the door's open, so flies just come in, and my dog's there licking our ass and fighting off. It's ridiculous. God damn.
Here's what's fascinating. Not to derail, but gonna derail a little bit, because we haven't talked about comedy a lot. But like, it's interesting to me that like, when I talk to you on this podcast, or when I listen to you in your podcast, you have these things that I'm like, why isn't that on stage? Like, this is a thing that is very specific, and because you talk about like yeah, I'm like, I don't want to, like, recently you were on something, I can't remember what you were like, I can't not talk about the corona thing, but I don't want to do it from a hacky place, and I understand that, but I'm like, your thing is such your thing that it's like it would only be hacky if you didn't talk about everything that you're in right now. Your situation as it stands is a wacky situation. The fact that you're in this living situation is a story. And I don't get to hear that story, but I hear about the cooties thing, and I hear about like other stuff that's like, I guess, relatable. It is true, and it is real, and it did happen to you, but I feel like the details are what makes it like, I want to hear that. At the very least, I want to hear that, and then you make it funny on top of that, and you're killing. But like, I don't know. That's just like, I just, it's like, okay, all right, that's funny to me. To watch you fight a fly. And it's like genuinely upsetting you. Like,
for comedy's sake, I know I think I'm getting rid of most of my old material, and I'm gonna start doing that.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, let me
I,
preface and say, by the way, that I only thought of the playground cooties joke. It that joke is funny. That's why it came to mind. I don't want to make it sound like, oh, that joke, throw it out because it's bad. It's just like it's when I see this or other things in you, or we talk about the darkness of all the stuff that goes on with you. I'd much rather hear that story. And that's just me. Again, that's just me. I love that kind of stuff. As positive as I am, I revel in the darkness. Like,
yeah, for
but go
me,
ahead. Sorry.
when it comes to comedy, when I come back, it's going to be very different. I can tell you very confidently it's going to be different. What I'm going to be talking about and how I'm going to be talking about it is different. Literally the way I view the world is different. It's changed. So, if you continue to listen to the ACMM, you'll hear like every 100 episodes, I listen back.
Okay.
And the shift and the change in me as a person is fast. Like, it happens and you can feel it every episode. It's like, oh shit, he's moving in a new completely direction.
Okay.
So yeah, man, it's gonna be different whenever I come back. But
Well, I'm excited.
yeah.
Back to the music thing. You
Oh,
were saying,
yeah. I don't like when it comes to the negativity. I've gotten Also, let me preface: not a lot, not nearly
okay.
as much, not nearly as much as when life was normal. Like, when life was normal, I got a lot of it. People would let me know, like, hey, just so you know, this is what they said about you on this podcast, or this person messaged me about, or not even this person. Most people wouldn't even say names. That was the other thing. Like, I don't know who's saying what or what they're thinking. I just know people are feeling negatively about it. So, the constructive criticism I love. I got some criticism of, like, it sounds like you guys recorded separately. You can feel like, oh, this was in a different room. It doesn't flow well. Or I heard some stuff about the production. I heard some stuff about the writing. And that stuff I love. Give me all of that criticism because it's productive. There's something to latch onto so I can improve.
Right.
But then there's also criticism of, like, just simply, why the fuck are they doing that? Or they're wasting their time, or that's stupid, or whatever. Like,
That's
stuff
funny.
like,
I find that to be a very interesting argument. Like,
yeah,
I mean, it's I don't know. Again, I don't know how those things hit you, but it's like as opposed to doing like like
right, right.
I could be doing. Yeah, I'm not gonna sit here and act like making music is the end all be all. Like there's so
God
many
fucking damn it!
things.
God damn it! It's terrible, man. It's fucking terrible.
Listen, the fly just likes you. It's just really into you. Listen, you're an attractive black man in a white tank top. It's trying to get a piece. Stop
God,
being rude. Let
you
the
know when
fly
it
be.
goes in your ear and
Yeah,
it's whispering to you in its fucking fly voice?
yeah.
Like, hey, I'm here. I shit on things and I eat feces and I'm in your ear right now. God damn it. All right. Fuck.
Do you want to grab like a magazine so next time you can just swat it one time?
I just wanted to not be in this room. Just leave me alone.
This fly is a metaphor.
The negativity. So, like, when it comes to those things, it used to, before the quarantine, when I would hear that stuff, I would dwell on it more. And it was less, what would go on to my head is like, I'm not bothering anybody. I don't think I am. Like, I'm not going after anybody. I don't think I'm doing anything wrong. And so I would dwell on that. It would be, I would be confused by it, and that would frustrate me. Within quarantine context, it's like it confuses me for about a second, and I'm like, I don't, whatever. Like, okay, you don't like my shit, you don't like my shit.
Right.
But it's what's odd to me is people's comfort with telling me negative shit and not telling you negative shit. That's weird to me.
See, I think it's again. This is again. Maybe this is my positive, and you could make a hard argument. My yin spin on it, but like if I did that right. Anywho, to me, I feel like the reason they're okay with telling you negative and not me is because you can take it. So like there are tiers, right? So like if somebody, I'm trying to think of an apt metaphor. If somebody is rich, like their life is going great with money, you can tell them some like ideas about like, hey, this is what's going on with your money. Like you're spending your money weird. Like that's a bad idea. But like with somebody who's barely struggling, you're not telling them stuff that would get them out of struggling because you just see they're barely making it. Like you don't want to give them advice on their funds because you think it's like this. But like when somebody's stable, like the higher you go up, the more people are okay to tell you crazy stuff. It's kind of like, okay, us, you hear the level of negativity that you hear at your level because you are what you are. I think that's a two-part thing. One, and this is going to be way, way, take this with all the grains of salt, but you
I'm
understand.
listening. So I'm listening. I think the fly went out of the room. I'm going to close the door. I'm listening.
I'm going to explain it like he's still sitting there. So one is, I think it's the level of like, so to a celebrity, right? How much trash do people talk to celebrities?
A
Like
lot.
you see mean tweets, like they'll say unnecessary, over the line, they don't know that person, crazy stuff about things they think about a celebrity or opinions about their music, and like blatantly put it online in front of everybody, say exactly their name, tag them in it. Like that's what they get because they're so high, they're like up here because they're in these upper echelons. It's okay for you down here to say whatever you want because you don't even think it'll reach them. And even if it does reach them, they're so far up that it's like, I'm rich. It doesn't hurt me. It can't hurt me. So because you're stronger, you get treated worse because they think it can't affect you. Because you're more stable than I am. Because you're more okay with being able to take negativity.
All
Like
right.
if you really look at me, is there not a part of you that's like, I don't want to say negative stuff to Zero because I don't want to be the one that ruins it for him. I don't want to be the one that like a little kid with HBO. You don't want to take away somebody's happiness. That guy's happy. If he can be naive and happy, let him be naive and happy. Like it's just you don't want to touch. It's why nobody comes at Nick Laney either. Like they don't come at us because we're such nice, sweet balls of sunshine that if
Yeah.
you got darkness on you, you're kind of afraid to infect us with your darkness. So you hold that back from us. But because you are already steeped in the darkness, they're like, they don't have any problem because it's like, oh, it's just, he's not going to feel this because he's already steeped in it. Hey, Aaron, the no words can affect you because you got stabbed by somebody who was a skinhead. Like, what words could I say to hurt that man? He's gone through some stuff. Negativity doesn't hit like that. Number two, the reason I think they're okay to say negative stuff to you is that like, and again, take this with a grain of salt. This isn't to be up your butt and or say that the buddy system has made it or anything. But at the same time, you could see where a new comic or a comic who's not putting on their own shows or doesn't book at multiple locations or have different shows going on or actually draw in an audience at all or has a following and people listen to them even if it's not that many people, that it's a couple of people, where because you're like, again, it's not by much, but if like this is where everyone starts and this is where like you worked up to be an okay comedian and then you like host and then you're like putting on your own shows, you're here to somebody who's here. So when they say this stuff, they're okay to say this stuff because you're up here. It's like because you're in a better place, I can say more messed up stuff to you because either A, I'll pull you down to being on my level, I'll get you where I am, or B, I will it won't affect you and I'll get it off my chest. I'll get it off my chest.
I guess. Sorry, that was a lot. So I'm gonna try to.
Okay. Yeah, sorry. I did a mini rant there.
No, you're good. You're good. I think.
Hey, my
Okay.
baby brother's in the chat. What's up, Jeremiah?
Hey, Jeremiah. Hey, I'm your oldest brother, technically.
Don't listen to him. my
Uh,
my brothers are very easily influenced. Let's not.
gotcha. I don't want to influence you. Jeremiah, you don't want my yang, Jeremiah. Trust me.
Yeah, you don't want that problem. Go ahead.
But when it comes to the this part of your analogy, I understand it. I think it makes sense. I think it's just weird to me because I know like I'm not shit. Like
Exactly.
the buddies just what we got a show at the Improv on a Tuesday. Like I love it. I'm really proud of what we've accomplished so far. We're gonna keep going. I'm not gonna stop.
Yes.
But the idea of like I don't know, the idea of thinking of me as up here is crazy because I'm
Yeah,
super.
it's not a conscious thing. Because if you came to any of those people and you're like, you're hating on me because I'm up here, like they'd be like, you. But it's like, it is like there's that dynamic at play because they're like, again, it's the celebrity thing. If you ask any celebrity by another celebrity or even by like an interviewer, they don't think they're that. There's a couple that are like that egocentric, but the couple that are like real human beings, most of them are like, no, I'm a person too. That's why they hate the paparazzi. It's like they're a human being. They don't feel like people worship them and are like, I just love you so much. You're like a god. And they're like, I'm not a god. I'm like a person that sings. Like I act. Like it's just a skill I developed. It's not that deep. But like that's where you are. You're never gonna think you're much higher unless you get pushed. Again, it's like if it's this weird thing where I think it's a level of like humbleness, but it's like when you get pushed, the humbleness goes away. So like you're humble until somebody's like telling you you ain't done nothing. Like you're nothing. Like you
Yeah,
might as well be an open mic comedian. Like
I
you guys, buddy system is lower than you even think it is. Like you don't even have a podcast. You don't even have people coming to your shows. You don't even have you don't have venues. If somebody told you you guys don't have venues, you guys don't do shows. You don't do shows. Like you'd be like, yes, we do. We do shows. We put in the time, we put in the effort, and we pick the acts. We put on shows. Like it's something to be said.
I guess what confuses me about it, it's like it's just hard to wrap my mind around. Just because I'm not. Why'd you just sign shit?
No, oh, was that what that is? No, I was doing the Naruto thing. In my brain, it's you're like they bite their thumbs so hard that it makes it bleed, and then they like summon by doing it across. Why I had that thought just now, I don't know. Anime went in my head for a second.
That works. Um,
Carly, I'm a real one.
it's just strange. It's strange to me, and it's like what you were saying about like, well, he can handle it, and yeah, I can handle it now because I've had to handle it literally my whole life,
Exactly.
constant. So now I'm like, okay, I guess you don't like me either, but I guess for me, I don't know if a person like that would be listening. It's like I anime shit. Oh yeah, we forgot to talk about that.
We'll get around to it. It's probably not going to be this episode because we got like 19 minutes. But
it's just strange, and it's frustrating because I want those like okay, I'll use the buddy system in the IE for example. I want everybody in the IE to be as good a comedian as they possibly could be. It's going to help all of us. I can book you more. People are going to recognize us. The LA won't shit on us so consistently. Like, I want everyone to be good. Mm-hmm. So why are you trying to if you drag me down, you're dragging you down. Like, or I remember there was this new guy. He was around for like a week. I can't remember his name because he was around for like a week. But we were hanging out. We were in the parking lot at Brooks Bar. And we were joking around, and I think I said something like, oh, he's the new guy. He's the squid. Awesome. Like, I was excited. I was like, oh, a new person wants to do this. And then maybe a week later, I came up to him, and I was, haha, I meant that comment for when you mentioned it. All right. but I saw him maybe like a week later, and he had bombed, I think. And I went over to him. You know what I do with new comics in the IE? Do you know? Okay, so I have a whole portfolio of breakdown of like how you can start writing jokes.
Okay.
And so what I do is I say at this point I would say, hey man, do you want some advice? Do you want a suggestion? And then I break down like this is how you write jokes in its most pure form. Not this is my style. This is like a setup and a punchline. Cut the fat. These are the types of bait and switch, puns, whatever. I explain all of that. And I'm like, all right, man, go do you.
Yeah.
And I go up to him and I'm like, hey, man.
My cousin. That's my cousin.
I go up to him and I'm like, hey, man, do you want some advice? And he did that. You know the SpongeBob meme? The one where he has his back and he does the face?
Oh, yeah. Do you want some advice?
So he does that to me. He does the meme to me. He's like, oh, your opinion. And I'm like, okay. And so later on, and maybe a couple days later at another mic, he apologized and he said, he said, I'm sorry. Like when I said the squid thing, he thought I was like talking down. I'm not your cousin. I'm your biggest fan. I love you, Zero.
Okay. I appreciate it. Love you too.
Does are you my fan?
This is my family. This is how my family is. They are supportive out the wide. There was never a moment in my life that they didn't love me. So I've had this. This is what I deal with. And it's like, how can you be mad? How can you have a bad moment in your life when this is the love you get? Like it's not fair. It's not fair. I understand that. But
I didn't get that at all. But
seriously.
He apologized. Yeah, he apologized. He said, that he thought I was like mocking him or trying to put him down when I was trying to give him advice. And I don't know what it is about me. And I've slowly come to just accept, like, you know what, you're going to interpret me how you interpret me. I have no control of that. Yes. So I'm just going to be me. I'm just going to keep joking, keep fucking around, keep trying to give advice, and just do the best I can. But I will.
Yeah.
But so that's.
A guy said, I love you, Aaron Chase. I'm your biggest fan.
Thank you, James. That's not family. Thank you. He's family. But I've come to a place of like, you know what, man, I'm just going to keep being me, and you can like me, you can dislike me. I'm just going to keep pushing forward. But there is this piece of me that's like, what am I doing that's making people think that? Because I feel like I try to make it very clear, like I'm just joking or I'm fucking around or I'm trying to help. That's what's in my head. And I don't know.
And I think it's really 100%. It's from what I hear from that story, it's a technical issue. Like it's not, like you said, the place you're coming from isn't bad, but the way you're going about doing it, it's like if somebody, this is how I would, like, I also have thoughts on people's things and I have ideas of how they could do it better. But like that's the thing. And I feel like maybe you would if you had gotten off stage as a new comic and like, or not even a new comic. Let's assume, we're going to assume, give all the dice to you and say he was new. Let's say he's completely new. This is the second week or whatever he's ever gone up. And then after you went up, so you went second week of you being in it. After you went up, bombed, then somebody came out of their way and went, hey, you want some advice? Hey, you want some like help? Like, cause you bombed back there. And I mean, I'm adding words, but like, cause when you bomb back there, it's like, seems like you need some help. And it's like, that's like, would you, as you, like, saying exactly what you said, if somebody came up to you after you bombed second time and said what you said, is your first reaction, he's trying to help me?
Do you want me to answer? That's not rhetorical?
No, it's very not rhetorical, honestly. Because this might be the problem, quote unquote problem.
Okay. this actually might be the problem, because for me, I would say, okay, yeah. I remember in San Diego, I was bombing
Hmm.
all, and comics, older, more seasoned comics would come up to me, far less nice, and would be like, "Hey, man, you need to tell fucking jokes." Or they would talk to me like that,
Yeah.
and I didn't. And my issue with the way I didn't have an issue with them telling me. My issue was with them not giving specific notes. Don't just tell jokes. Explain what the fuck a joke is. So
Okay.
in my
Okay. All right.
yeah,
Okay. Gonna insert here. So your problem is the same problem he's having. It's not where they're coming from, it's how they're doing it. They're doing what they did to you is what you did to the next guy. Because each of you is
I
assuming like you're all going, I want to help. But the
yes,
way I need to help is how I would take that help. You're not
yes.
thinking about the other person in a weird way. You are, but it's like it stops. It's like I'm thinking about you up until you're me, and then I help you at me. For me, where if I was that person, I also would be like, I want to help, but then I think like, who am I to that person? And I go, if they want help, they gotta look for like you gotta come to me if you want that. Like I'm sorry, that's how it has to be. Because if you want help, you're gonna get it from me. Like what's most effective for the person you're helping. Yeah, it's like if you want help from me, then you have to like I'm sorry, you have to jump. You gotta jump. Because if I come to you, it is good. There's only one way you can take it. I feel like there's only one way you can take it. The only way you could take that is I'm here, you're here. I do this a lot, and I'm just realizing that from this podcast. I'm here, you're here. Let me help you because you need help. And it's like, nobody, that's just not human to me. There's very few humans who can take criticism like that from somebody and they would take it full on.
I
More
have
times than not, it's
I have
like,
yeah. I have a couple of things. First
okay,
thing is, I guess for me, I was still able to handle it because I'm just used to it constantly happening. Of people just telling me their very negative feelings. The second thing I would say, and I think is the difference between what I was doing and what those comments were doing to me, was that I have a curriculum, I have a way to actually explain it. So
right,
his interpretation of it, I can see how it can hurt your ego of being like, I bombed. Now someone's saying like, you need help. I get how that hurts the ego. This is the more harsh side of me. This is the yang side of me. And that
okay.
is to say, you're in stand-up fucking comedy. If you can't handle somebody saying, hey man, do you want some advice? Get the fuck out, man. Like you're not going to be able to handle this because you're going to have people yell at you that's not constructive. You're going to have people telling you you suck. You're going to have people telling you you should give up, you should quit. I'm coming up to you very calmly and nicely, and I'm saying, I'm not a professional. I'm not Dave Chappelle, and I understand that, but I've been doing this longer than you. Fucking listen, because I'm trying to help you. Get the fuck out, man.
I don't know. I don't know. I got nothing. I don't know.
It's like, and also the reason I don't, and by the way, when we start up again, I'm not going to do that anymore. If someone wants advice, they can come up to me.
Yeah,
But
that's what I'm saying. I'm saying like it's not again, it's not yeah, it's not that your heart isn't in the right place. No, I was repeating you. Ah, okay, got it.
yeah,
I was like, the chat is really bad because it's like the timing and like how we get the messages. But there was what was I saying? Yeah, there is a way to do it where you do the approach, but it has to be so soft. And I get where you're coming from. It's like, yeah, if you're in stand-up comedy, yeah, hecklers are heckler. But it's
yeah.
also I again, this is me playing my side of it. Is like that's one thing. That's what it is. It's exactly what I'm saying. I'm putting myself out in stand-up comedy. I put myself in stage, which means I signed the doctrine that says audience is going to give me feedback. That is the equivalent of me coming up to you and going, hey, I need help. Help me. I signed that. That's my emotional, social signing to say I'm okay with that feedback. But when I'm on stage, for you to come out of your way, I didn't sign that contract with you. I didn't say I want that, because there's a part of me that's like, again, I'm just playing his mindset. There's a
Yeah.
part of me that's like, I'm also very like, don't give me your advice. Like I don't want it. Like I don't want other people's thing, because I want to develop as this is the artist in me. I want to develop as purely as me as I'm supposed to. And
Yeah.
so I don't let anything in that isn't like me or I've decided is helping me, which has a lot of detriment.
Yeah.
I'll sit here and say right up top, there's a lot of detriment to being that hard headed in a way. But there's another side of it to me that's like letting in other people's ideas of how comedy should be or how I should do my style. While it could equally help me, I think for my brain, it would add too many variables. There's already so many variables. Like the amount of people who have given me the advice to shorten up, tighten up my act, while that would work, I don't want to do shorter versions of my joke. I like the way I communicate. And
Yeah.
so you take the good with the bad. And this is a blanket statement. I don't block out all advice. Like obviously sometimes people come up. One of my best jokes is one a dude came up to me afterwards and said, "Hey, you did the numbers wrong. Like you got the numbers wrong." And then I redid the math in my head and I'm like, "Oh, you're right." And he said, "Yeah, you should add this." And so then I added an extra thing. And now I have that as a part of my act. And it's like way better. It's like a way better joke. And I thank that dude every day. Like the original version, I'll tell you what joke it was. It was my 12 Days of Christmas. The original version of that joke, I think it stopped at the 5th day of Christmas. It was like 5 golden rings. Like, what am I supposed to do with 5 golden rings? And then he was like, yeah, what if like after you had the rings, like then the animals started, like you had to sell the rings to then pay for all the birds that you just got. And I was like, that's amazing. And I was like, that's dope. And so now I elaborated and made it my own. But had he not given me that feedback, I wouldn't have evolved it anymore, because
Yeah.
that's where I was. But there's a way and a difference between like, hey, I have an idea for a tag, or I have a thing. Like, here's my thoughts. I think it's about like, yeah, it's like when it comes to technique. Again,
Yeah.
we're in comedy. When it comes to technique, I think everybody is supposed to do their own thing. Like, just
Yeah.
let them do their thing. If they come to you and go, hey, what's wrong with do you see something wrong with my technique? Like when you come and you're like, I get a negative reaction. Why do you think I get a negative reaction? Then I'll tell you why I think you get a negative reaction. And even then it's like, I think you get a negative reaction because X, Y, Z. But like, if I came up to you after you just got like negative reaction and I decided for you when you bombed that you wanted my advice, and I'm like, hey, real quick, I just wanted to tell you the reason you're getting negative advice is because of this. Just letting you know.
I get what you're saying, and I think, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. It was gonna, you were starting
We got 5 minutes. Yeah, we'll start the rant.
I think that, okay, so first off, I'll say I agree when getting unsolicited advice, I agree that people's reaction to that is generally negative. Thank you, Tiffany. I understand that, and I think that when we come back, I won't be giving unsolicited advice just because I've changed and my thought process has changed during the quarantine. But at the same time, it's like
I also understand that you're trying to help. I want to put it out there for everybody that that's clearly him trying to help. That's like a good thing. That's like he said, he's trying to bring everybody up. Like, it doesn't make sense to like tear you down. Neither here nor there. I just felt like that needed to be said.
No, it's all good, man. But to me, I feel very responsible for the IE, the comics in the IE, because it's like we're running almost all of the shows there. Like, we have this Disney monopoly on the shit, and this does not work. In my head, it was like, this shit doesn't work unless everyone's good. So I need everybody to be on their fucking game. And that's why for the longest time, I would get annoyed with people being lazy, not writing, not going to mics consistently, and then getting mad at me because you're not getting booked. It's like, well, fucking work, man. I'm working, fucking work. And so for me, I was in this headspace of like, I need to make sure that the community all moves up. And I'm not saying I'm the god of the IE or anything like that. I'm saying relative to the newer people, I've been doing it longer. In the same way that when I talk to KJ, I shut the fuck up. I don't say shit when I talk to KJ because he's been doing it longer and he's better than me. And it's like I think stand-up comedy is a meritocracy. It's like a dojo. You respect who if your belt is higher or darker. I don't know how the belts work, but if your belt has straps around it, little pieces of red tape or whatever, you are better. I'm going to listen to you. Humble yourself, man. Like, calm down. Yeah. So for me, I'm not gonna do that when we go back because my mentality has changed and the way I things has changed. Yeah. But yeah, man, I don't know. When it comes to the negativity, I handle it better. And it's what did she just post? Was that a diaper? What is that? Oh, it's a
dojo gi. It's a gi.
Yeah. So my mentality about it's changed.
A diaper?
My mentality is about it's changed. My mentality about myself has changed. It's all changed. So when I go back, I'm probably going to be very different. But and you know, I can handle the criticism. I can handle the negativity, and I've accepted it at this point. If people don't like my album, they don't like me, they don't like my comedy, they don't like the buddy system, that's fine, man. That's cool. Do you, as long as you stay the fuck away from me, I'm good. It's just odd to me. That's really where it's coming to now.
And I get that. And what you'll learn to me, again, and this is airy-fairy thoughts. Again, I'm not there and I haven't experienced, well, that's not true to a certain extent. But what I've learned in people is when you stop trying to do the thing will come to you. So like what you'll weirdly experience is because you're not going out of your way to try to give people advice, people will come to you for advice. Because I don't know if you've noticed the way that people, again, you just described how you view the buddy system. I'll try to wrap this up because I got 30 seconds. But like you clearly have done something for the IE. The new kids that come in now look at you guys like you've done something. Like they look at you like, oh, they know what they're doing. They're up there. So like I'm going to go and they're going to come to you for advice. We got 24 seconds. Do you want to try to do another one or do you want to call this?
Let's start it up and make it ending and then we can call it.
Okay. All right.
I guess where I'm at is I still am weirded out by the amount of negativity that comes at me more than you. But I'm in a place where it's like, you know what, man, I can handle it. I'm used to it at this point, and it's not going to stop me from continuing to pursue my dreams. And when we go back to doing shows again, I'm not. If you ask me for advice, I'll give it to you, but I'm not going to go out of my way.
Yeah. And again, it will come. It will come. Again, that was what I was ending on, was just the idea that I can't see that not happening, just in the way of like, yeah, you're on your path and you're doing your thing. And again, it's that, how do I put it? I mean, you understand it. I mean, you understand on some level that like, it's not everybody. Like, yes, there's some people who just are, your vibe just doesn't hit them right. There's some, but like, I think that it's like, honestly, it's probably more, again, it's that thing I said in the McDonald's episode. It's like, that's more of a thing with them than it is with you. Now, don't get me wrong. Yes, there's techniques you could go about doing things better so it doesn't communicate that way. But I feel like you're also very good at like cleaning it up after you've said something that isn't that. Like once you see them start to get like, what do you mean?
That's actually a thing I've been working on. Is I've decided that what I was doing before was I was trying to clean it up while I was saying it, and it was making it awkward and not fun or funny. Right. And then now I say whatever I say. Yeah. And if it seemed to take it the wrong way, then I will jump out of joke mode and I will very calmly and clearly say, just so you know, I'm just joking, I'm fucking around, here are my actual, without joking feelings, and clarify.
Right.
That's kind of how I'm handling it now.
Right. And I think that's a good way to go about it. Again, learning and growing. And yeah, as far as my thing, I don't really see it as like, yeah, it's fine for me when it's fine for me in those moments that, yeah, I don't get bombarded with it and it's not like weighing me down. But there are sometimes, as much as I just said, like I'm not looking to take in any opinions, there's also a part of me that when I get off stage and I don't know if you've had this happen. Have you ever gotten off stage after you bombed and people will come up to me and like, that was good. You did good. And I'm like, what are you
No,
talking about? That happens to me. Like people will come like I'll get off stage after doing bad, and then like it'll be like a couple minutes later, and like I literally chalk it up to they see I'm a nice person and a good person, and they don't want the puppy to cry. They don't want the little boy to cry, and they're like, hey, don't do that. So they go like, hey, you did good. Hey, you did good. Like, and I'm like, don't do that. Like, just let me feel it, and then I can grow from it. Because if you tell me that, I'm gonna take it, and then I'm gonna think like, yeah, I did do good, and then I won't fix it. I won't change. I need to learn that it's bad to know that it's bad. That's why I like comedy to an extent, is because they can't fake. I mean, they can fake a laugh, but I can feel when it's off time, or
right,
when they usually audiences don't care and they just don't give it to you. But like in general, like that's a thing I experience. It's not all the rainbow life isn't all rainbows. There's a certain darkness to it that's called people are too soft, but you can feel them being soft to you on purpose. Like the amount of times, like one of the biggest reasons that I sometimes doubt how funny I am is because I genuinely sometimes think people just like me. Like it's not the jokes are funny. It's not that I'm good on stage. It's that I'm a swell guy. And you can tell I'm a swell guy. And so they're like, we want swell people to do well in life. Yay, swell person. And they're like, you're funny. And I'm like, I don't know if you mean that, but thank you. Like I'll take the compliment, but I don't know if you mean that. But yeah, each side has its ups and downs. I get where yours is also bad. But yeah, that was today's episode of A to Z. We said we were going to talk about anime, then we didn't. So we'll get to it eventually. But
Harley, we will. I promise. Maybe we can do another episode tomorrow or the day after about anime.
someday we'll do an episode about anime. Anime? Someday we'll do an episode about anime. For now, we're going to close out the podcast. Again, this has been A to Z. If you want to watch any other of the podcasts, you can find us on the Buddy System Comedy on YouTube under the podcast A to Z. We also just released an EP called A to Z. You should give it a good listen to. We both rap on it. We got a couple singers. It's a fun time. I'm Zero Rimson. You can find me at _KR anime on Instagram. And you can find this man, Aaron Chase, under Aaron Chase 91 on Instagram. He's also around on the Buddy System page. He's over the ACMM, which is his podcast. Again, all things you can find on the Buddy System YouTube page. Search. Can people find you by searching your name? I mean, your name is kind of like bad SEO, but like
It's pretty easy to find me.
okay. Well, again, you'll find him if you find me, Zero Rimson. You could very easily find him. So, yeah, that's been an episode. Thanks for chilling with us. Later.
Bye, Zero.
Now that he's gone, I could talk to you guys for real. I'm kidding. I'm out.